here, man. So this is actually the small Tesla motor, and this one is capable of 220 kilowatts, man. So here it's actually very obvious to see. So this is the motor, this is the differential part, the mechanical part. There's a reduction gear here because this motor spins at 16 or 18,000 RPM. It needs to convert down to wheel speed, okay? So there's a little bit of reduction there. So this is the drive shaft, the cups for the drive shaft. So this was the front motor on a Tesla Model X, okay? So it's got different lengths because the motor is actually a bit offset to the side. Quickly showing the liquid cooling hose in the system. So see, this square box is actually a heat exchanger. So this is in line with the motor cooling. So it flows through that first and then flows through the motor winding. And then here we're gonna have another 2 hoses. They're actually cooling the power section of the motor controller. Okay, so there's 2 hoses over there, to total of 4 hoses. So here's the electronics, man. Ooh, so this one actually being damaged by us, a little accident. We actually learned with this. Look, we had a hacked board here, so we kind of playing with settings and trying things and connecting different stuff there. Get fast. It works, man. Ooh. So basically, we set up very powerful batteries here.
Filters up through the cells, out through the top. They've got large bus bars to enable high current. And the BMS communicates through these jumper cables.
And we need to put some protections in case of a short or anything, just like a big circuit breaker, but not enough for this motor. But we're like, oh, it's just a bench test. It's just the wheel free spinning in air. It'll be fine. It was fine for 2 days. And then on the 3rd day, we actually tried different settings here. And then we got the motor spinning really fast. It was crazy. We're so happy. And then eventually, after a lot of tests, the circuit breaker tripped. And yes, and then the logic board stopped controlling the power, because normally the logic board is actually controlling the whole power section and say feed power to the motor, regen, or like it's just controlling in and out here, managing the whole lot. So suddenly everything is turned off and the motor is spinning at 16 or 18,000 RPM. So basically it was just so much power feeding back through the phase wires into the power section. So the power section is actually underneath here, okay? So this is actually faulty right now. There's a problem here. And the biggest drama here, Tesla doesn't want you to repair the motors, right? So they made it in a way, they potted this thing upside down, so you can't really have access to anything. So yeah, it's like they trapped you here, okay? So to fix, you need to maybe damage more things. You might never get this motor fixed. Yes, so Tesla really don't want people fixing these motors, so they made it a trap here that you can't get into the power section, okay? So what happened is, so start removing all the bolts here. There's some little bolts there, bolts, but you actually get to see that there's more bolts underneath depending on the angle you look. So yeah, there's like lots of bolts are being removing here, and this doesn't move at all, okay? So basically, looks like they actually screw this board here, and then they put this plastic here, flipped it upside down, and injected with something in an angle. So they injected this gel, which is like a protection against moisture and stuff, and probably helps as well with thermal dissipation here. All right. And then, yeah, but basically everything is glued together now, and I tried to drill a hole here to like remove this plastic cover, but yeah, like it's pretty hard. So it looks like you're gonna crack something if you keep on trying. Okay, it might be possible, but yeah, it's very tricky. It's gonna be very messy. You're gonna have to peel everything and clean, and like, yeah, it's gonna be really like a full-on job. And someone was interested and happy to do this job. So yeah, we just end up selling this to the guys, right? So good luck for them. It's gonna be a pretty hard job, but not impossible. It's just hard. So just gonna turn here so you can see some stuff. We're gonna be explaining how this thing works. So this is the connector that goes connect to the car, right? So it's just like an amp connector and amp seal connector. here's the liquid cooling thing. Okay, so there's like an inlet and outlet on both sides here. See, one is in, one is out, and then there's a little sensor here sensing the liquid flowing there. Okay, so this sensor is this guy here. Okay, so it gets connected to the board. So a fluid thermistor. Okay, so it's just sensing the temperature of the coolant, okay, flowing through the cooling the power section of the motor, right? So the power section is actually about here. Yeah, the liquid flows through the power section, cooling the whole, the MOSFETs, the part gets hot. And then this is the computer here, right? So that's the thing that's pretty hard to hack. Tesla got the proprietary code and software and smarts here. So it's basically a lot easier to remove this and put an open source hacked board, okay? Okay, so in here we're gonna have 2 current sensors. I'm actually gonna be showing here. See, yeah. So there's like 2 little sensors. So from this angle, they're actually monitoring the phase current. Oh yeah, here you go. 2 little sensors. They're actually military grade. I think this is something from SpaceX, because we had to buy 2 new sensors for the hacked board. And yeah, we had to sign a lot of documents here. They didn't want to let us buy this thing, like asking if you're a terrorist or doing what we're doing, or like, yeah, it was pretty full on just to get these little sensors here. It's just sensing the magnetic field. As you flow power through the cables, you can actually, there's a magnetic field that you can actually sense with a ring around it. All right, so in here, we have another 2 connectors. We have the encoder and thermistor stator connection here. So this is for the encoder. The encoder is actually measuring the motor position sensor of the motor, okay? And then there's a little thermistor, which is the temperature sensor. So it's measuring temperature, motor position in this one little connector here, okay? Then there's another little connector here that goes through the high voltage there. So this one is the off-board HVIL, okay? So this one is just measuring something right here. So this is the connector, the high voltage connector. We'll see if we can get some light here to show. Right, so here you see this is the Amphenol connector. Positive on the right, negative on the left, and just plugs here and seals really well. Got 2 bolts for each connector, and they key differently. So you can't put this plug into this one and not gonna fit. It looks similar, but they don't fit. Righty, and this is the little cover for the phase wires. Okay, so basically the phase wires, they're bolted from underneath here. So you see there's 3 phase wires here. Yeah, so you basically slide it in, and there's 3 lugs here. Yeah, actually really nice lugs. Everything at Tesla is done like this. Look, it's like really cool stuff, man. And then they go connected right here. So this is the connection to the motor. Alrighty, so I think I covered everything. This motor is being sold. Someone's gonna be fixing and looking after. Ooh, Tesla power, man. Yes! Tesla.